In the picturesque town of Göreme, nestled in Turkey's rugged Anatolia region, a joyous wedding celebration turns to tragedy when young Aylin dies unexpectedly on the eve of her wedding. Her sudden death sets in motion a dark curse that haunts the town's newlywed brides. Every wedding night, Aylin's ghost appears, draped in her wedding gown, seeking to complete the ceremony she was denied. But as the curse grows stronger, a new groom must face the terrifying mourning bride, battling for his new wife's life before it's too late. Göreme was a town that seemed untouched by time, where the people lived by ancient traditions and the stories of old were passed down through generations. Aylin, a beautiful young woman, had long been the pride of the village. Her wedding to Emir, the love of her life, was a grand affair, drawing the attention of everyone in the town. On the eve of her wedding, the entire village was filled with excitement and anticipation. But just as the night was about to begin, disaster struck. Aylin, standing at the threshold of the grand hall, collapsed. Her family and friends rushed to her side, but it was too late. Aylin had died suddenly, with no explanation for her passing. The suddenness of it left the town in shock, and Emir, her fiancé, was devastated. He couldn't understand how a night meant for joy had turned into this heartbreaking tragedy. The elders of the town, who were steeped in ancient customs, feared that Aylin's spirit would remain restless, her soul unable to find peace. They buried her in a small cemetery outside the town, unaware that Aylin's untimely death would set in motion a chain of events that would curse the village forever. Aylin's death became more than just a sorrowful memory. It became a warning. As the years passed, the town of Göreme continued to celebrate weddings, joyous occasions, but each marked by an underlying fear that had begun to haunt the village. Every wedding night, when the clock struck midnight, a chill would fill the air, and an unsettling silence would fall over the village. No one spoke of it openly, but everyone knew what it meant. The ghost of Aylin, the mourning bride, had returned. On the night of each wedding, as the couple began their celebration, Aylin's ghost would appear. Dressed in her wedding gown, her face hidden by a veil, she would silently wander the hall, her hollow eyes searching for something or someone. Her presence was never subtle. Her wailing cry, a mournful and anguished sound, would echo through the air, sending shivers down the spines of those who heard it. But it was the newlywed bride who felt the true impact of Aylin's curse. As the night wore on, the bride's body would grow colder, her strength fading as Aylin's spirit grew stronger. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of how the mourning bride would replace the bride of the wedding, stealing her soul to complete the ceremony that had never been finished. One by one, the brides in the village vanished into thin air, their lives claimed by the vengeful spirit who could not rest. If you were a bride on your wedding night and heard an eerie wail in the distance, would you feel dread or try to dismiss it as just superstition? Years after Aylin's death, Emir, unable to move on from his lost love, eventually found solace with another woman, Elif. She was kind-hearted, with an easy smile that softened the sadness Emir had carried in his heart. Their wedding was a symbol of hope for the future, a new beginning that Emir had desperately needed. But as the wedding night approached, the same fear began to creep back into the town of Göreme. On their wedding night, as Emir and Elif settled into their room, the house seemed eerily quiet. The wind howled outside, and the air grew uncomfortably cold. Emir, aware of the town's history, felt an unease he couldn't shake. Elif, however, was excited and filled with joy, oblivious to the curse that had plagued the village for years. That is, until midnight struck. As the clock tolled, a chilling breeze swept through the room, and Elif's expression changed. Emir turned to look at her, but she seemed to be staring into something not visible to him. Then, the soft wailing began. At first it was faint, but it quickly grew louder. Emir's heart raced as he looked toward the door, certain that the ghost of Aylin was near. As Elif gazed into the mirror, her reflection began to change. Her face morphed, her features distorting into that of the ghostly bride. Horror gripped her as she realized Aylin's spirit was trying to claim her, just as she had with every bride before her. Emir's love for Elif was tested as he realized the terrifying truth. Aylin's ghost had returned, and she was determined to claim Elif's soul to complete the wedding that was never finished. The coldness in the air intensified, and Elif's once joyous expression turned to one of terror. She could feel Aylin's presence, her wailing cries growing louder, as if the spirit was just outside their door. Emir knew they had to act fast. Desperate to save his wife, he sought out the town's elderly woman, who was rumored to know the secrets of the town's dark history. The old woman explained that Aylin's spirit was bound by the curse of an interrupted wedding. To break the curse, someone had to reaffirm the love between the ghost and her original fiancé, symbolizing the love Aylin had never had the chance to experience. Only then would her spirit be freed. With a heavy heart, Emir faced the ghostly bride. The room seemed to shrink around him as he held Elif's trembling hands, his voice breaking as he declared his undying love for both women. He spoke of his deep affection for Aylin and how her tragic death had left him broken. His words were not just a plea to Aylin, but a tribute to the love they once shared. As Emir finished speaking, Aylin's wailing slowed, and her figure began to soften. The cursed, twisted expression on her face faded, replaced by an expression of sorrow and release. Her ghostly form dissolved into the air, and the once terrifying atmosphere in the room lifted. If you were in Emir's place, would you be able to speak such vulnerable words to both your lost love and your new spouse? Or would you hesitate, fearing it might make everything worse? The curse was finally broken, and the oppressive energy that had clung to the mansion disappeared. Emir and Elif were left standing in the room, their hearts racing, but filled with relief. The wails of the mourning bride were gone, replaced by a peaceful silence. Elif, exhausted from the night's events, clung to Emir, grateful for the love that had saved her from the fate of the brides who came before her. The following day, Emir and Elif visited Aylin's grave, a small, quiet memorial outside the town. They placed a bouquet of white roses on her grave, a symbol of their respect for the woman who had once been loved so deeply. In that moment, Emir found peace. Peace for himself, for Aylin, and for Elif. As the years passed, the legend of the mourning bride faded into the background, but the memory of Aylin's tragic fate lingered. On the anniversary of her death, Emir and Elif would visit her grave, paying tribute to the woman who had never had the chance to complete her wedding day. But the memory of Aylin's curse and her final release would stay with them forever. The camera panned to Aylin's grave, where a single white rose bloomed, symbolizing the love that had finally freed her spirit from the chains of her tragic past. Would you be able to forgive the past and offer peace to a restless spirit, even after all the pain and tragedy? Or would you feel the weight of that forgiveness too heavily? Thank you for joining us on this haunting journey with Emir and Elif. If you were faced with a spirit-seeking closure, would you find the strength to confront the past and heal the wounds of lost love? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story left you questioning the bonds of love and sacrifice, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Dare to Listen. Because sometimes, the most powerful force isn't fear, but the love that transcends even death, freeing the souls trapped in their darkest moments.